you see is real mining equipment. Some of it is over 90 years old, including what we're in right now. It's called the man cage, and when this operated, anywhere between 30 to 40 men at a time would have used it to enter the mine. Now, this is actually a very dangerous trip because they were missing walls and a ceiling. All they had were the chains above your head to hold on to. Had to hold on to something too, because if you didn't, there was a good chance you could rub up against those walls on the way down and get severely injured in the process. It was called getting the shaft. Now, there was something else that was missing at the time, and that was lights. All right. Now, as you can see, it would get pretty pitch black. Somebody snuck in a night light here. Apparently, they are afraid of the dark. I'm just letting you know. Okay, anyway, no. Anyway, yeah, this trip would actually last for about 60 minutes, too. It's a 600-foot drop into the mine. Fortunately for you guys, though, we've managed to shorten that time to about 60 seconds, okay? Let's go ahead on in.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, you can't have lifeline already. You just got here. Come on in, guys. Move on up all the way to me, please. Come on in. Got a big group. Want to be sure everybody gets a chance. Come on in. Fill in the space all the way up to me.
Go ahead.
All right, everybody. Let's focus on that glass over there. Okay. We call this area of the mine the Rotary dump. Here you will have cars coming down all day long, and each one of them is numbered and the responsibility of a specific miner. Once it gets to the middle, the device at the bottom is called the skip, and that will weigh the coal. And once that coal's weight has been determined, we'll go ahead and dump it, and it kind of looks like this. Keep your eyes on that glass. So all that coal is dumped onto a conveyor belt and sent to a hoist that'll raise it to the surface for us. Now, in the 1930s, if you worked inside of a coal mine, they did not pay you by the hour, they paid you by the ton. It would take about 2.5 to 4 hours on average to get 2,000 pounds worth of coal, and a coal miner would make somewhere in the area of 17 to 75 cents per ton. Now, even in the 1930s, this is very little money, especially when you consider just how dangerous this job can be. There's a lot that can go wrong in a coal mine. You could have a fire, you could have a collapse, you could even have a flood. When you're 600 feet below the surface, you are below the Earth's water table. It is possible for you to find water as you dig through the seam, and what makes this dangerous is there's no place for that water to go, and there's only one way out. So let's get rid of that water, shall we? Take a look over the railing over there. Now, if you look down to the floor, you will notice that we have a trench down there. Well, that trench is called a sump. That's where the water will gather. And when you see that machine, there's a sump together. Most of the water is actually sent back into the mine. These walls over there, you see that they're wet. We had to keep the walls of the mine wet because that keeps the dust down. You don't want to bring that stuff in. It's very poisonous. Another problem with coal dust, it actually explodes if it gets too dry and warm. So, that's why we have those walls wet. All right, folks, time for some safety training. Head up those stairs for me, please. We've already talked about a lot of these dangers that you can run into in a mine. Things like fire, dust, flood, collapses. Well, all these things have something in common. You can see them. The worst danger of a coal mine is completely invisible to us. You cannot see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, or hear it. What am I talking about?
Methane.
Yes, exactly. And both of them were just named there. Carbon monoxide and methane. Now, both these gases are poisonous to us. Methane is also explosive. So, in the 1800s, I've got my senses, which are useless to me. I've got no technology to help me find these gases. So, how do you think I would look?
Canary.
Yes, the canary in the coal mine. Small animals in general, but we really like the canary because it has small lungs, fast metabolism, and they are songbirds. So if they stop singing, that means that bird has inhaled that gas and is no longer with us. Well, not only is this method very cruel, it's not even really effective, because if something coal miners would not ever win, it's Canary Caregiver of the Year award, okay? They would often forget to feed these birds, give them water. They wouldn't even take them out of the mine at the end of the day. They just leave them down here. So false alarms happened all the time. So in 1815, a new method came along, which we call the Davy safety lamp. It was invented by a British chemist by the name of Humphrey Davy, and he figured out that when you burn different gases, you'll get a different colored fire. So for instance, burn a candle, what color fire do you get?
Orange.
Orange, yellowish, reddish, exactly. You got a mixture of nitrogen and oxygen in the air. That's a safe environment. That's okay. Now turn on a gas-powered stove, and what color fire do you get?
Blue.
Blue, exactly, yes. That is methane gas coming out of there. Some of you are like, wait a minute, I thought that was natural gas. Same thing, different name, okay? Any gas that comes from the earth is natural gas. So this turns blue, that's your signal to leave. However, do any of you think it is the wisest idea to use fire to look for something that's explosive? No, not really, right? I mean, if somebody said, hey, I need you to check how hot that volcano is for me, you think the best way to test that would be to jump in? No, exactly right. You know, you're basically putting your life on the line doing this kind of test. Now, what makes this so dangerous is these are very, very fragile. A little bit of damage makes a huge difference. And I'll show you, and I'm about to show you why. So at this time, just make sure you're outside those yellow markings on the floor. Now keep your eyes on the box. Go ahead and see what happens. And I add some methane. Here we go. Exactly. I saw you jump. All right. Anyway, don't worry. A lot of speed on here. Okay, so anyway, so 1800s. Do I have light bulbs at my disposal down here? Absolutely not. So this is the only source of light we've got. That means somebody's carrying this. Now, what do they tell you to do if you catch fire? What's this procedure?
Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll. Do you think that's a good idea here?
No.
Absolutely not. This is one of two places you never want to roll around if you're if you're on fire. The other is a gas station. Okay? Everything around you is flammable. Roll around on it, you will cause the whole place to go up in flame. And if that happens, there is nothing you can do about it. A coal mine fire cannot be extinguished because there is too much flammable material down here. Average lifespan of a coal mine fire could be anywhere between 100 to 400 years. The good folks of Centralia, Pennsylvania know about this. In 1962, they had to evacuate their town because of a mine fire, and that fire is still burning as we speak. It could last at least another 150 more years. So, in the 1960s, a new method came to us, which we got called the pocket methanometer. There's a screen in the back here that lets gas into it, and the front will tell us how much gas is in that room. Now, we got a little secret code that goes with this, which I will share with you. 1.9 means everything is fine. 2.0, and it's time to go. 5.0, and it's gonna what?
Blow.
Good job. Now here's the deal though. These are expensive. $600 versus $60. You think a miner could afford one of these? You think a mine owner was going to spend the money on one of these? Absolutely not. No, this was a conundrum because of the money it cost. So Illinois had to actually step in. And we were the first state in the country to ban the use of this lamp. And it only took us until 1996 to get that done. All right, guys. On that pleasant note, it's time to make our way into the mine. And we have the man trip for that. So let's go ahead and get on.
We're going in the cage.
I think so.
All right, everyone, please watch your step as you get on. Use either side, it does not matter. Just make sure to slide all the way down whatever bets you choose.
Keep sitting back, of course.
Excuse me. Sit next to him.
Oh, sure, no problem. They should probably like put up warnings if you're claustrophobic and not go on this tour.
Yeah. The submarine was good. Have you been down there yet?
Yeah. Well, I'm short, so actually the submarine didn't bother me in the least.
Yes, but it was very confined.
All right, folks, let's go.
They were so enough room.
For real. Just felt like it was for real.
Modern coal mining standards require maximum safety for the miner, and roof bolting is the most effective technique. Once the coal has been removed from the working section of the mine, about the size of a large room, the roof bolting machine, designed and built by FMC Corporation, drills holes into the ceiling. A bolt is anchored into the stronger sandstone above the coal seam to hold the roof in place. This drilling pattern provides a safer area in which miners can work. Without this safeguard, the roof might sag and eventually collapse. FMC roof bolting provides a safer and more permanently secure environment than former methods of roof support.
Okay, everyone, we are now in the working section of the mine, so at this time, just make sure to have all your belongings with you because we will not be returning to the train. If you do leave something behind, don't worry about it. It's actually very simple to get it back. I'm going to let you know. Two-step procedure. Here it is. Find it on eBay and outbid everybody for it. This way, please. Watch your stuff. Okay. Come on down, folks. Come on down. Move all the way in. Move all the way in. Just don't run into that wall. All right. Come on in. All right. So, guys. So, in the 1930s, the most common style of mining is what you see in this room. We call it the room and pillar technique. We have pillars like these all over the mine to make sure that the roof will stay secure. Now, the problem with the system, though, is those pillars are made out of coal, which means you got to leave 40 to 60% of that coal behind per roof. In other words, you're losing money. So, the first step is this machine right here, which we call the undercutter. What it will do is dig a trench that's 6 feet deep at the bottom of the wall called an undercut. Now, if we don't dig that, when we blow up the wall, the coal will only have one place to go, and that's back right on top of us and bury us alive. So, we have someplace to go. Next, up here is the face drill. This machine will make a hole in the wall. That hole at one time was for dynamite. Dynamite was handled by a gentleman known as the runner. He would light it, stream fire the hole, get out of there as fast as he possibly could. He didn't have a lot of guys lining up for this job. It was eventually phased out, and dynamite is no longer used in underground mining anymore, but we still use an explosive of some kind. It's just a lot safer. It's called canisters of compressed air. Just put some in there, open it, when it explodes, there's no fireball, and thanks to that undercut, that wall will collapse. So now we will use that machine behind you called a joy loader. Get those getting pulled out. The arms at the bottom will scoop the coal into that conveyor belt system, sending it up to the shovel truck. Now, use these machines together and you'll get one heck of a headache. So at this time, if you don't like loud noises, cover up your ears. I'm about to turn on all 3 of these machines. They do get very loud. Here we go. So anyway, unfortunately these machines would cause something that miners still face to this very day actually. That's hearing loss. And in the 1930s, miners would lose an average of 80% of their hearing after just 1 year of work down here. When you have to work 12, 16 hours with nothing to protect your ears, that kind of thing can happen. But in itself is dangerous because that means you cannot hear warnings. So let's go ahead and show you what we came up with to try to alleviate that, all right? This way, please. We're about to make our way to what we call a cross cut. Now when you enter this section of the mine, keep your eyes to the ceiling. And we'll see some pretty cool fossils up there. Here we go. Here we go. In the 1960s, a new piece of machinery was invented, which we call the Longwall. As you can hear, it's not nearly as loud, and it can do the job of all three of those machines combined. The spinning head that you see there is called the shear. It does exactly that. It shears the coal face for us. It's got sprinklers on it to keep the dust down, and a manometer built in to alert us if we got a gas pocket. Plus, the ceiling at the top here, we call it a canopy, supported by hydraulic arms, and that means when we use this machine, we do not need to build pillars. We get 90% of the coal out of the mine with it. But they're so expensive, they're so big, they have to be brought down here in pieces and assembled underground. It'll take a while to put one together because they get anywhere between 3 to 5 football fields long. Furthermore, they're insanely expensive. This segment alone will run around $25 million. A full-size machine will cost anywhere between $200 to $500 million. There are 4 of these machines in the state of Illinois alone, but only 49 in the entire United States, for a very simple reason. They cost too much. If a company does not have to spend the money on one, they're not going to. On that note, folks, it's time for one more stop. So let's go ahead and make our way back to the surface. This way, please.
Not very much fresh air down here.
Think how it was back then. Ain't much very fresh air, period.
Come on in, guys. Alrighty. Okay, guys. So the last 80 years have seen a lot of changes to this business, but the biggest change of all is also the most obvious one, and that's technology. Today, miners do have a lot of help from engineers who will come up with better, safer, more efficient techniques in mining. However, this job will always be dangerous, so we got to ask ourselves, if it's such a dangerous job, why do we do it? Anybody tell me what the primary use for coal is today? Hint, the answer's in the room. Electricity, yes. Roughly 50% of the electricity in the United States is coming from coal. Now, that means we'll need a good supply. Take a look over on that wall there, and you're going to notice that we have a map of the state of Illinois. All that green up there is untouched coal. Illinois is the 5th largest producer of coal in the nation, and the United States actually exports twice the amount of coal that it consumes. Now, when you burn coal, you will always get leftovers like ash and tar. You simply cannot just throw these items away. The good news is, we can use them. If you look in those display cases there, you can see some examples of products that can be made with what's left over from coal, like brick, concrete, and paint. But construction material, boring! We use coal for a heck of a lot more than that. And some of the stuff that coal is used to make is a little on the surprising side. So, on that note, it's time to play my favorite game, What Can Coal Do For You? The rules are simple, I'm just going to tell you. Alright, let's start with the easy stuff. Coal can make waterproof clothing, stainless steel, the rubber in your shoes, the dye that colors your clothes. So far nothing too bad, right? So let's keep going. Cosmetics, lipstick, perfume, mascara, nail polish, cologne, all that stuff, okay? Okay, why'd you look back at her for that one? Okay, alright. It's just like, okay, alright, so yes, so ladies, you might want to think twice about biting your nails next time you're thinking about it, okay? Alright, so like makeup, okay, that's going on your face or on your nails, ladies, so it's not such a big deal, right, you know? So let's keep going then. Let me ask something. Young man, do you think it's possible for coal to taste minty? No? Did you brush your teeth today? Did that taste minty? Then you tasted the coal from that. Exactly. Yes, toothpaste, mouthwash, and tap water all contain fluoride. That is an ingredient derived from coal. Now, some of you are probably like, okay, that's no big deal. Oh, yeah, and kids, please keep brushing your teeth. That's not an excuse to stop. All right, yes, okay. Now, some of you might be saying to yourself, well, you know what? Fluoride strengthens my teeth. That's not such a big deal. So now it's time for me to get gross. All right? We use coal to make cough syrup, aspirin, and artificial sweeteners you'd find in your favorite diet soda. Is that gum sugar free? It is? It's there too. Yes, yeah, she's like, great, I'm chewing coal. Yes, okay. Artificial sweeteners, a big market for coal. It's actually the largest market for coal. Now, you might say, okay, that's enough. No, sorry, I gotta keep going. Anybody get hungry if I talk about coal tar? You know, that hot, stinky, really smelly stuff? Nobody, right? Okay. But what if I mention Cheetos? Right? This guy's like, Cheetos? Yeah, he gets up. He looked right up when I said that. Cheetos, yes, exactly. Well, if you have a hunger for Cheetos, then you have a hunger for coal tar. Cheetos contain something called yellow 6. It is an artificial dye made from coal tar. As a matter of fact, most artificial food dyes come from coal. And we also, and we're going to talk about one other thing here. Anybody tell me what famous food made its triumphant return recently?
Twinkies.
The Twinkie. Congratulations, sir. You just named one of the most coal-filled foods in existence.
Yes.
Twinkie, yeah, right. Yeah, Twinkies are loaded with coal. Many of their ingredients come from coal, but we're only going to talk about one right now, and that ingredient is called sorbic acid. Now, this is a preservative. For those of you unfamiliar, preservatives are chemicals that we use to make food last longer, usually used in processed foods, all right? Now, sorbic acid is what gives Twinkies the reputation they have. Anybody tell me what the reputation is?
Last forever.
They last forever, exactly. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. That is false. Twinkies do spoil. It just takes a while, okay? The package tells you, if you look on it, that it's an average of 45 days for that Twinkie before it's best if used by 45 days, right? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's the freshness date. That's not necessarily the date it goes bad. You can actually keep a Twinkie for a lot longer than that. How long do you think? 60 days?
Yeah.
60 days? Let's multiply that by a lot. 5 to 12 years, actually, is the average lifespan of a Twinkie. As a matter of fact, the museum is home to a 4-year-old Twinkie. We actually have one on display. It is unchanged. It looks just the same as the day we got it. So I know that makes you all nice and hungry. So on that note, I want to thank you for visiting us today. Those stairs will return you to the museum, and we are the only mine on the planet that's going to send you to a food court. Look for some coleslaw. It's probably the stuff without coal in it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Let's go down the stairs.